In July, the FBI was handed a dossier of disturbing social media posts written by someone who was hinting at plans to carry out a mass shooting. What it didn't have was the identity or location of the person behind those posts. Thanks for joining us. I'm Kim Christensen.
I'm Alexandra Lewis. It turns out the person who made the post was the boy who shot two fellow students last week at Evergreen High School. Kevin Vaughn from 9 News Investigates broke this story. He's joining us now. Kevin, the FBI failed to follow up on a tip like this a few years ago, and that person went on to murder 17 students at a Florida school. So what exactly did they do here?
Well, Alex and Kim, the FBI told us today that they were still investigating these posts up until gunfire rang out last week. At that point, they still had not identified the person responsible for those disturbing messages. Desmond Hawley's attack at Evergreen High School seriously injured two students and shocked a community. But just before it, he had telegraphed his intention, posting a photograph of a revolver on his X account. It was the last in a series of troubling social media posts that foreshadowed his plans. The Anti-Defamation League, which keeps tabs on disturbing posts and extremism, had been onto the teenager for months. In July, they forwarded what they knew to the FBI. They knew he professed admiration for mass shooters. They knew he had an affection for white supremacist symbols and language. And they knew he was amassing tactical gear and talking of buying things like a camera and ear protection. What they didn't know was who he was or where he lived. The FBI acknowledged this afternoon to 9 News Investigates that it was still trying to identify the source of those posts last week. Only then were they able to connect those internet messages to the shooter. We still have a lot of questions about the federal investigation. For example, we don't know exactly what agents did to try to connect those troubling messages to the young man who was responsible for them and for this shooting. Live in the newsroom, Kevin Vaughn, 9 News.
Okay, well, hopefully we'll get those answers soon, but this is incredibly revealing on its own, Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, and this has happened in a number of cases where there was somebody who knew something that went to authorities, and it often has not led to the apprehension of that person before these tragedies.
Not soon enough. All right, thank you, Kevin.